Hi again, Greg of the News Tribune here at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. The Seahawks losing a game they had won with 1:40 left in the game. They took a 14-10 lead. Russell Wilson to Doug Baldwin, 30 yards to this end zone right here. The defense gave it right back, losing 17-14. Before we get to all that's wrong with the Seahawks, and there is plenty wrong today, Kirk Cousins. When you wonder next spring, why someone's going to give him a $20 million free agent contract, think of the throw he made on Michael Bennett was smacking him in the face on that final drive. He threw it to Brian Quick on the right, outside right, over Justin Coleman, a perfectly placed ball on this sideline over here, as Bennett was smacking him right in the face mask. A Pro Bowl sack man coming right in on him. He stood his ground, Cousins did, and threw a strike, 31 yards. It got the Redskins down to the Seahawks 39. And then I thought Shaq Griffin, the rookie cornerback for the Seahawks, gave up on the deep ball that Josh Docton went past him and Superman dived for and caught at the 1 yard line. Cousins just threw it as far as he could, left sideline, and it looked from the press box that Shaq Griffin just gave up on the pass, thinking it was way too far for Dotson to get to. Dotson, of course, caught it on a dive from the 1 yard line. Then Rob Kelly's second 1 yard touchdown run of the game. After that, gave the Redskins the lead. The Seahawks had one final chance there with no timeouts and 59 seconds left. Paul Richardson got him to the 39 of the Redskins, but again with no timeouts, it was full scramble mode by then. Russell Wilson took a sack that pushed him out of any even thought of giving Blair Walsh a fourth field goal chance from 64 yards. Walsh said after the game when I asked him that no, there was no discussion on the sidelines, nor should there have been, because he knew the coaching staff had absolutely zero confidence in him today. The winds in the pregame were blowing. It was light snow, light rain, and the winds here were blowing to the Seahawks sideline over here, which meant when the Seahawks were going to the downtown side in the second quarter, where two of Walsh's three misses were, it was pushing the ball left. And in the first quarter on this end zone, it also pushed the ball left. It was kind of inexplicable if the wind was blowing to the Seahawks sideline, but that shows you how unpredictable and impacting the winds were. Walsh was a stand-up guy after the game, and I wrote this already. You don't want to hear that he was a stand-up guy. He's paid to make kicks, of course. But he said, yeah, those kicks are on me. It's my job before the game to judge the pregame weather conditions and the wind and then make adjustments accordingly. He said he never did adjust fully for the compensation, the fact that, especially to the open end behind me, the ball was getting pushed left to the uprights. So all three of his kicks were very far left, like some of your drive shots in golf. So those are 9 points the Seahawks gave away. Of course, you lose 17-14. That's going to be a topic after the game. All of the Seahawks I talked to a man, Russell Wilson, Michael Bennett, Thomas Rawls, said we're not pointing blame on him. We've got other things to blame ourselves about, all of us, Russell Wilson said, including Wilson's 2 interceptions. He had his lowest percentage and lowest passer rating day since the opening loss on early September 10th against Green Bay. The 2 interceptions were, one was a really good defensive play to Doug Baldwin, and the defensive back just stepped in front. The second one was an ill-advised pass across the field. Looked like he was going to Baldwin, but it was between Baldwin and Rawls. But let's talk about 16 penalties, huh? Second most in Seahawks history. And we always ask Pete Carroll, what about the penalties? And he says, well, we're working on it, we're emphasizing it. It's a lack of discipline at times when there's false starts, and it's also a lack of physical performance when you just get so beaten on the offensive line that you end up grabbing, which happened a lot in the first half. 3 holding penalties on the offensive line in the first half, 2 on Odeabushi, the right guard, 1 on right tackle Jermaine Ifedi, who I think gets away with about 16 false starts a game that don't get called because he's trying to get jump starts at the snap. To put in perspective, 3 holding penalties for the Seahawks offensive line in the first half. Their new left tackle, 3-time Pro Bowler Dwayne Brown, has played the NFL for 10 seasons. He has 7 holding penalties in 10 years. The Seahawks had 3 in the first half today, and they killed him. There was a 41-yard pass to Doug Baldwin that would have gotten the Seahawks into range to score in the first quarter, or second quarter in the first half. That got called back on Ifedi's hold. It was just time and again penalties that stopped drives before they even had a chance. The Seahawks had a 3rd and 30 after they had gotten to the Redskins' 14-yard line, and a drive that ended with Blair Walsh's missed field goal. They had a 4th and 29 in the second half. And there aren't many plays in the playbook for 3rd and 30. So, The offense couldn't bail out the defense this week as it did the previous week against Houston. Russell Wilson couldn't provide the magic in the last 59 seconds with no timeouts. And the defense, as well as they played, season-high 6 sacks against a max-protecting Washington offense that really did keep a lot of guys in to block for Kirk Cousins and often send just 2 receivers out. 6 sacks, including a sack safety here in this end zone by Bobby Wagner, as well as they played again, and they only gave up 17 points. They had a minute 40 and 70 yards to defend to secure this win, and they didn't do it. So when this team loses, it's usually an equal opportunity effort, and it was again today. They're now 5-3. The 4-game winning streak is gone. And after the game, the talk was already that we have to get our minds on Arizona because they're playing them on Thursday after just 2 practice days this week, 2 full practice days, and a Wednesday flight to Phoenix. The Seahawks have squandered this make-hay portion of their schedule. Their 2nd consecutive home game. They had a 4-game winning streak to try to keep pace with the Rams, and they lost that, so they're now a game back in the division. And now they go to a wounded Arizona team in the desert, trailing and chasing the Rams instead of still tied with them. You can read all my coverage, as always, at thenewstribune.com and on Twitter at GBellSeattle. Thanks for watching.